Donald Trump just declared war on a fellow Republican for a very stupid reason. And if you're looking for reasons for hope that the Trump train is coming off the rails, get cozy. This story is going to leave you with an afterglow. Welcome to the David Reddish Show. Welcome to the show, beautiful Occupy Democrats viewers. I'm David Reddish. Before I begin, I need to let you know that our show will be on an abbreviated schedule tomorrow since I need to have jaw surgery. Don't worry, it's a minor revision and I plan to be back on the air on Monday, possibly wearing a veil or a hijab if I swell up too much. Your well wishes are appreciated, as are your donations to my Ko-Fi Recovery Fund. Follow the link in the description. Also, make sure you subscribe to our new channel now to stay up to date on stories like these. We're pushing for 500,000 subscribers as soon as possible, and when we hit it, we are partying down, so long as I'm no longer on pain medication. But okay, let's get to our story, shall we? You may have heard that amid all the congressional sparring over the Epstein files and an impending government shutdown, see our other videos for more on those stories, as you may have heard, the Orange Menace is planning to host the annual governor's meeting next week at the White House. But this year, he is making some changes. Here's a rundown.
A break from long-standing Washington tradition, the Trump administration is not inviting any Democratic governors to the National Governors Association's meeting at the White House next week. Democratic governors Wes Moore and Jared Polis have also been excluded from the political organization's dinner with the president. CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand is at the White House following this for us. Natalie, explain why these Democrats are being left out of these what are supposedly bipartisan events and what's been their reaction to the exclusion.
Yeah. Vlad, this is an annual tradition that goes back decades, and we're talking about two separate events. The meeting of the National Governors Association that happens in Washington every winter usually includes a White House component where bipartisan governors come here to the White House and meet with cabinet secretaries and staffers. The NGA says this year the White House is choosing to invite only Republicans, saying they're very disappointed that that is going to now be a partisan event, and saying for that reason it's not going to be an official NGA event. And then there's the black tie dinner, which again is a bipartisan dinner since the NGA is bipartisan. But this year, we are learning that invitations to Maryland Governor Wes Moore and Jared Polis have been pulled, that they are not invited. Moore actually revealed this in a statement, saying in part that as the nation's only black governor, I cannot ignore that being singled out for exclusion from this bipartisan tradition carries an added weight, whether that was the intent or not. He also called it an example of blatant disrespect and a snub to the spirit of bipartisan federal-state partnership.
So, Trump only wants to meet with other Republicans, huh? That may seem all too predictable, given that President Syphilis always demands fealty, but there is a twist here. Believe it or not, one Republican governor, Oklahoma's Kevin Stitt, actually came to the defense of Democrats last night, and Donald Trump, in predictable fashion, had an online meltdown. Check this out.
New tonight, Governor Stitt called out and insulted by President Donald Trump online today.
The fallout stemming from events involving an annual gathering of governors at the White House.
So traditionally, there are two events for the president to host, both a bipartisan work meeting and a black tie dinner at the White House for attendees. But several Democratic governors said that they would not attend this year after the president did not invite all of them. Governor Stitt is the chair of the NGA, the National Governors Association, and sent a letter to his fellow governors saying, quote, "We cannot allow one divisive action to achieve its goal of dividing us."
And in his letter, Stitt said that the NGA was informed of the White House's decision to limit invitations to the annual business meeting, and due to the organization's mission to represent all 50 states, NGA would no longer be serving as facilitator for the event.
Well, President Trump fired back at Stitt online today, calling him a rhino, an insult meaning Republican in name only. Trump says that he actually invited all governors except for two of them, the Democratic governors of Colorado and Maryland, saying, quote, as usual with him, Stitt got it wrong.
Well, the governor's office says a lot of this is simply miscommunication and bad timing, and sent us a statement today saying Governor Stitt received his invitation on Monday and looks forward to the rest of his colleagues receiving their invitations today.
But new tonight, the president has already doubled down, making another post about Governor Stitt on his site Truth Social, saying, when Kevin Stitt, the very mediocre, at best rhino governor of Oklahoma, was losing his election to a Democrat, primarily because he did a bad job, he called for my help. I endorsed him, and he won. Sorry, my cherished Oklahoma, to have done that to you.
Oh, and the tensions don't stop there either. Despite clarifying that Democrats would actually be invited to the meeting, except for Wes Moore and Jared Polis, Trump continued to attack Kevin Stitt. In another post this morning, Trump wrote that Stitt, quote, was massively behind his opponent in his previous election for governor, close quote, and called him to ask for help. Trump then added that he barely endorsed him and Stitt won his race, but that Trump looks forward to the arrival of Stitt's successor since Stitt is term limited and cannot seek another term after he leaves office in 2027. So we have a little family feud here, huh? Actually, at the rate we're going, with Trump officials and President Strokey Pants himself, we're not far off from some kind of game show, or, more accurately, a reality show. A very bad reality show. These people make the Jersey Shore look like 60 Minutes, but never mind. And as Democrats in the Congress continue to hold out for ICE reforms, what do you think the nation's governors will have to say about it all? Like I said, grab the popcorn and the opera glasses and pour a very tall one. This show is just getting started. And regardless of how swollen I get after my procedure, count on us to keep you up to date on all breaking stories in American politics. This is The David Reddish Show.